Welcome back to the channel. I'm NDL Gamer, and after a long break from making videos about DC Dark Legion, yeah, life got a bit hectic. I'm finally back with the official May tier list, fully updated by yours truly. This list is based on my personal experience using the heroes in battle. For the ones I don't have yet, I ranked them based on how my opponents used them and how they performed in the Darkest Timeline mode. Compared to April, this May tier list brings a ton of changes, so let's dive right in. I'm still holding firm on one thing. Superman, Joker, and Constantine are staying in SS tier. In the April tier list, I labeled this as S+, but honestly, that didn't feel quite right. These heroes are clearly on a whole different level, so starting this month, I'm officially calling it SS tier to reflect their true power. Also, I've added a brand new row called Not Yet. This tier is for upcoming heroes who haven't been released in the game yet. While the admins haven't officially announced them, we already have visuals of them in the game files. Yup, Starfire and Red Arrow, also known as the fan favorite Roy Harper from the Green Arrow team, are both in this tier. Keep an eye out because they're definitely coming. Now, I know some of you might disagree with me keeping Superman in
I am
SS tier.
Superman.
I've seen the comments. His damage isn't as high as others. He doesn't belong there. But let me set the record straight. Superman absolutely deserves his spot. Right now, only Superman and Deathstroke deal high melee damage, and that alone makes them special. Most of the other top tier damage dealers in SS are long ranged, which makes them extremely vulnerable to Deathstroke. If your team relies on just one main damage dealer, Deathstroke can wipe them out easily. That's exactly why Deathstroke got bumped out to FS tier, and it's also why Superman has to stay. He's literally the only one who can stand toe-to-toe and counter Deathstroke right now. And of course, there's Sinestro. I used to rate him a bit lower,
I
but after
know
actually
it's
using
loud
him in
in
the
the
Darkest
color
Timeline, I've
yellow.
changed my mind. His raw damage output is insane, and he's absolutely earned his place in SS tier this month. Now, moving on to tiers, let's talk about Green Lantern first, because I've seen a lot of players placing him in SS tier. And sure, he's strong, no doubt about that. But here's the thing, he's a premium hero, mostly reserved for the big spenders. As a free-to-play player, you only get one shot at getting him, and that's from this golden box right here. That's it. No other way. So if you
Where
see the
there's a
chance to grab
will,
him, don't
there's
even
a
think
Green
twice. Take
Lantern.
it. You won't get another opportunity. The crazy part? He's useful even without any stars. His force stat can be upgraded without stars, and his ultimate hits pretty hard too. But because free players can't unlock him twice, it's unlikely you'll ever get him to full potential, which is why he's sitting in tier S instead of SS. Still, if you've got the chance, get him. You won't regret it. Next up, let's talk about Poison Ivy. No debate here. She absolutely deserves her spot in Tierst. If you get the chance to recruit her, don't hesitate. She's a game changer, especially in tough stages like Boss Bane. Trust me, she'll carry you through
Evil is
challenges
never
that other
truly
heroes can't
defeated.
handle. As for Dr.
I'll help
Fate,
you
his position
anyway.
stays the same. He's just that solid. Not only is he a dependable tank, but he also provides shield support for your team. He's especially valuable when paired with heroes like Joker, Superman, and Scarecrow. I only have him at one white star, but he's still a huge asset to my squad. Harley Quinn gets a bump up this month. Her damage isn't that impressive, but she's incredibly durable and fits perfectly in a Birds of Prey team. She's the kind of hero who sticks around long after others fall. On the flip side, I've decided to drop Zatanna and Scarecrow down one tier. Don't get me wrong, they're still good, but they're not on the same level as the heavy hitters in SS tier. They shine best in a support role, like Scarecrow enhancing Joker or Zatanna backing up Constantine. They're the ultimate sidekicks, not the stars of the show. From tier A and below, I'm only going to highlight the heroes whose rankings have changed. No point dragging the video out by rehashing the same stuff for heroes who stayed in place. Let's get straight to the point and save your time. First off, Batman drops from tier S down to tier A. Why? Because while he's got good evasion, he can actually put your whole team at risk. If you don't have a solid tank, enemies will ignore him and target your other melee heroes, like supposed to be your main melee damage dealer. And if Superman falls, your whole front line crumbles. Batman just doesn't bring enough value to justify the risk. On the other hand, Raven climbs up 2 tiers and she totally deserves it. She's an excellent support, dishes out decent damage, and has solid survivability, which I initially underestimated. Turns out her skills let her self heal and also heal teammates. Her most clutch move, she can swap places with an ally under 50% HP, making her a perfect partner for Superman. Still, she's not quite on the level of Poison Ivy or Green Lantern, so Tier A is where she belongs for now. Now for Hawkgirl. She made her debut in April, and she's okay. But as a warrior, she doesn't have the offensive punch, and as a tank, she tends to endanger herself with low survivability. Her real value shines only when paired with Birds of Prey, because that's when her lifesteal potential skyrockets. Mara is someone I don't use much, but in Darkest Timeline, she's surprisingly solid. She brings useful healing, especially in situations where your team needs that little extra sustain to survive. Lastly, let's talk about Deadshot. I know some of you think he's trash, but I actually think he's underrated. In this game, you'll often face teams with strong healing, and Deadshot's anti-heal makes a massive difference. I once faced a team with 2 healers and couldn't win until I slotted Deadshot in, and suddenly I cruised through the fight. That said, I dropped him down 1 tier. Tier A fits him better than Esh, just to keep things realistic. Now let's move on to Tier B. And just like before, I'll only talk about the heroes who've had changes in their rankings. Two-Face has been bumped up 1 tier because he actually pairs really well with Joker. That said, ever since Scarecrow came into the picture, I haven't been using Two-Face much anymore. Still, I think he deserves respect. His bleed effect and AoE attacks can be a real threat, especially to squishy backline heroes with high damage but poor survivability. One good hit from him can knock them out of the fight early. Next is Bane, who drops 2 full tiers from S down to Beak. Back when I first got Joker, I used Bane a lot just because he was a reliable tank and could buff Joker thanks to their Arkham synergy. But let's be real, his whole role is just surviving. That's it. No real impact outside of that. Sure, he pairs nicely with Batman as a tank duo, but honestly, Tier B fits him better than S or even A. Moving on to Red Robin, he also drops 1 tier. He's technically a tank with a decent decoy summoning skill, but the problem is he always dives right into the middle of enemy lines, making him super vulnerable. And since there's no healer in the Batman team, he tends to drop fast. Luckily, Raven from the Titans faction can help him survive a bit longer. So for now, Tier B is the sweet spot, though without Raven, he'd probably fall even lower. Robin himself stays in Tier B too. He's got that flashy 9-hit combo that targets the backline, which sounds great on paper, but in practice, his damage is just too low. I've faced higher CP teams using Robin, and even with all those hits, their Robin couldn't even take down my Joker. So yeah, cool concept, but execution just isn't there. Lastly, we've got Lex Luthor, who also drops 1 tier. He's a ranged AoE damage dealer, mainly targeting backline heroes, but for some reason, his damage feels super underwhelming. Not sure if it's a bug or just how he's built, but he can't even finish off squishy enemies, which defeats the whole purpose of his role. So until that's fixed or buffed, Tier B is where he belongs. Now let's move on to Tier C, where we've seen some movement, both up and down. First up is Red Hood, who drops 1 tier. Honestly, this might be because I haven't been able to form a complete Batman team. I'm still missing Batgirl. Without her, the synergy just isn't strong enough, and Red Hood feels pretty weak. He tends to dive into the enemy, gets a few hits in, and then dies almost immediately. Yes, he has evasion, but it doesn't really help him survive for long, so he's just not effective right now. Vixen takes a hard fall, 2 tiers down. Early on, I thought she was strong and could be useful in many situations. But the more I played, the more I realized she's not that essential. She's supposed to be a support character. but being melee makes it really tough for her to survive long enough to actually help the team. And even when she does boost attack, the increase isn't significant enough to make a real impact. It just isn't enough to finish off enemies quickly. Now, for a pleasant surprise, the Flash goes up one tier. I've seen a few players using him really well, and he shows up in top tier lineups across multiple game modes like Simulator and Combat Cycle. His ability to boost the attack of the highest damage teammate and give them extra turns makes him a fantastic support pick. I haven't gotten him myself yet, so I'm holding off on ranking him higher. But if your team includes Joker or Superman, the Flash is a very solid support option. As for the Penguin, I'm still undecided. I've been testing him out for a while, but he just doesn't feel strong enough, even without max stars. Maybe once I unlock all his skills and get him to 5 white stars, white star, I'll reconsider his position. But for now, I'm leaving him in tier D. This video is getting pretty long, so I'll wrap it up here. Thanks a ton for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. If you found this tier list helpful or have any suggestions, feel free to drop a comment below. I'd really appreciate your feedback, and it helps me improve future videos to better serve you all. Don't forget to subscribe to support the channel. Once again, thank you so much, and see you next time.